News Review from BBC Learning English. Hello and welcome to News Review, the programme where we show you how to use the language from the latest news stories in your everyday English. Hello, I'm Neil. Joining me today is Rob. Hi, Rob.
Hello there. Yes, today's story is about the treatment of women in the workplace.
The treatment of women in the workplace. Let's find out some more about that from this BBC World Service News Bulletin.
Hundreds of actresses, film directors and lawyers have launched a campaign in the United States to fight sexual harassment at work. The women include Hollywood stars such as Kate Blanchett and Eva Longoria. The focus of their campaign, called Time's Up, is on people with low-paid jobs.
So, there's our story. People who work in the movie industry in the US have started a campaign called Time's Up. They want to help women fight against sexual abuse in the workplace, and it follows allegations against the film producer Harvey Weinstein.
OK, well, you have been looking around the various news websites at this story and picked out 3 words and expressions being used that we can use in our everyday English. What have you got?
OK, today's words are launch, harassment and unveil.
Launch, harassment and unveil. OK, let's start then with your first headline, please, Rob.
Yeah, our first headline comes from BBC News. It's Time's Up. Women launch campaign to fight sexual harassment.
OK, launch, meaning start a large project or initiative.
Yeah, it's a word we're probably quite familiar with when connected with launching things such as boats or spaceships. We blast off into space. We're launching them. We're physically setting them off for the first time.
In last week's news review, we heard about a rocket that was launched into space, physically taken from one place to another.
Indeed. But here, in this headline, it's used figuratively, really. It's about starting something, but not actually setting something off. We use it in connection with projects, initiatives, schemes, and here a campaign to set off or begin a new idea.
Yeah. And it's rather formal, isn't it?
It is. It's a very journalistic. Very journalistic word. For example, if you were starting a fitness campaign today, as you might be.
I am.
You are going to get fit for the new year.
A new year, yeah.
That's good to know. But you're not, or you wouldn't come into the office and say, I'm launching my fitness campaign today, would you?
No.
It's very formal.
It would sound like I was a newspaper headline or something.
Indeed.
Yeah, it's too formal, isn't it? I would maybe come in and say, I've started trying to get fit, or I'm going to get fit this year. I wouldn't say I've launched a fitness campaign.
You're showing off a bit then, I think you said that. Yes, you're just going to start getting fit. Simple as that.
OK, what's our next headline?
Our next headline comes from the International Business Times, and this says, Jennifer Garner, Reese Witherspoon and more support Time's Up sexual harassment campaign. That's the word harassment.
OK, harassment, meaning repeated unpleasant behaviour which upsets or annoys someone.
Now, we've heard this word used in the news quite a lot recently. It's quite a serious and obviously quite a negative word. And it's used in connection with things like sexual harassment and racial harassment.
Yeah, we probably hear it more in that context, don't we? Racial harassment, sexual harassment. Now, that word, say it again.
I said harassment.
And I said harassment. Let's do it again.
Harassment.
Harassment.
So I'm putting the stress on the first syllable.
And I'm putting it on the second. So what's going on? Who's right? Who's wrong?
Well, interesting. I'm using the sort of BBC guidelines that you pronounce it harassment.
The BBC being British.
Absolutely.
And I'm saying harassment. Now, probably, the origin of the difference here is to do with US versus British English.
Yeah.
However, it's all kind of mixed up these days. And so we wouldn't say it was wrong to say harassment, because just before we came to record, I asked our colleagues at Learning English, and most people said harassment. So this is an example of a word where both stress patterns are correct.
Yeah, we've adopted both ways of saying it, so we're both right.
We're both right. Everyone's a winner.
Absolutely.
And we will actually, in our Facebook challenge later, hear more about words that have different stress patterns. Shall we have a look now at our final headline?
Absolutely. Okay. This comes from the New York Times, and it says powerful Hollywood women unveil anti-harassment or harassment action plan. So the words unveil.
Okay, unveil, meaning officially announce something new.
Well, let's look at this word. It's if we break it down into two parts, we've got un and veil. Un meaning not, and veil meaning a cover. So, for example, a woman who's getting married might wear a white veil to cover her face. Then the moment she kisses her husband for the first time, she will unveil her face, remove her veil, basically. So it's like a little curtain or a bit of cloth. And if a head of state was opening a new public building for the first time, he or she may unveil a plaque on the building. So not removing a cover from the whole building, but there'd be a little plaque on the front of the building with curtains over them, and this head of state will open or unveil that curtain. So they're physically unveiling something.
But this meaning here is completely figurative, isn't it?
Indeed, yes. Here, the actors here are revealing or announcing something new. So it's about something new, but they're not physically opening something.
There's no curtain.
No curtain.
There's nothing behind the curtain.
No, exactly. It's just an announcement, or they're revealing something.
Yeah. Again, quite journalistic, quite formal. Not something we would sort of say when we were chatting together in the office.
No, indeed. I mean, for our boss used the word unveil in an email earlier, saying that he was going to unveil new plans for the new year later on today. Very exciting.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't then say to you, oh, Neil, our boss is going to unveil new plans. I just say that he's going to tell us about, maybe announce them, but
let us know.
Let us know, as simple as that. So it's a very formal word, again, used in headlines like that.
We are now going to unveil our Facebook challenge. And we looked at the word harassment or harassment earlier, which can have two stress patterns. And we asked the question, which of these words can't have two stress patterns? The first one is a word spelt A-D-D-R-E-S-S. B was a word spelt A-D-U-L-T. And C was a word spelt T-O-M-O-R-R-O-W. So what was the response?
Well, interesting response. Some right and some wrong answers. Krongioth said B, adult or adult.
Yeah, so that's wrong, isn't
That's
it?
wrong.
Because you can say adult or adult.
And then RJ Sabgin said it was address or address.
Again, not right, is it? Because you can say address or address.
But the people who got the right answer include NH Prodhan and Maria Christine Schauer. They said the answer was C, tomorrow, because you can only say tomorrow one way.
That's
as far
right.
as I know.
You can't say tomorrow with the stress anywhere apart from the second syllable.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, but with these other words, like we said about harassment, harassment, perhaps the origin is regional, US versus UK English, but things are jumbled up these days, so we're not going to say that one is right or one is wrong.
It's a global world we live in, so
We
accept different pronunciations and stresses.
We do. Okay, so now it is time for a recap of our vocabulary. Please, Rob.
Okay, our words were launch, start a large project or initiative, harassment or harassment, repeated unpleasant behaviour which upsets or annoys someone, and unveil, officially announce something new.
If you would like to test yourself on today's vocabulary, there's a quiz you can take on our website, bbclearningenglish.com, where you can find all kinds of other videos and activities to help you improve your English. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.
News Review from BBC Learning English.